You'll start understanding it soon.
Explain this to me, won't you? It's all inside the code.
What's up? I'm Jay. In this episode, I wanted to talk about something that will often catch folks who are just getting started with Python development. Imagine you're working with a third-party Python module for a project that you're doing, implementing it into your code base, and you bump into an error. How do you get around that error? How do you acknowledge that it happened, but then keep moving? When we have abnormal behavior in our code due to an error, we throw what's called an exception and handle it in a way that we can keep our code from breaking. In this example, that's what's going to happen. You're interviewing for the next quadrillion-dollar startup idea. It's a developer-friendly service that provides fresh fruits and vegetables from local produce stands. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating on the quadrillion-dollar part. For now, let's explain. Let's take a look at this project. There will be a link in the description to a GitHub repo that has the code that we're going to start with here. Play around with it and you can follow along. We have this CLI with some commands, and this is a Python script. There's a lot of stuff here. Let's just look at this. It looks like here's some instructions. Remove fruit from the inventory and return the total cost of the order in US dollar format. And then it also gives us an example of how this would be ran. And then we get a note that just says that, you should order other fruits that are in stock. And if there's not enough fruit in the inventory, then we'll see an error message. First, let's just start by copying that and let's just run this and see what happens. Okay, that's easy enough. It looks like we sold 2 apples and we sold 3 oranges. Let's start first by trying to get an idea of what's actually happening in this code. Let's open Copilot chat by using Command and a capital I on a Mac or Control I on Windows. And we can do explain. And then it gives us a description of the code itself. It talks through the choices of the CLI, what API is used, and more information around there. We did get some instructions here, and it says if there's not enough fruit in the inventory, the user will see an error message. Let's try that. I don't think we have 20,000 apples in our inventory, so right. Not enough apples. It looks like there's only 3 apples available. So how do we catch this error? Because it says that we should still be able to order fruits that are in stock. It looks like it's raising a value error. Let's see, how do we bypass a value error? Let's start our inline chat again and let's say, how do you bypass a value error? Oh, and it says let's do a try except. Interesting. And now let's open up the chat over in the corner here. So we can open up chat and we'll go, what is try except? Try except is a control flow statement. The try block contains code you might want to raise that might raise an exception. And the except block contains the code that will handle the exception if it's raised. Interesting. Try except exception type. And then cool. Yeah, it looks like that's what it did here. Now Copilot's going to give us a code diff. And in smaller windows, it combines the diff. What's in green is the change, and what's in red was our original code. If we expand it, you start to see it in 2 windows. What's on the left is our original code, and what's on the right is the new code. Now it looks like the try except value that it gave us just kind of moved some of the code over. I like this. I think we can maybe modify that print statement there, but other than that, if you don't like your results, you can always hit that refresh icon, the circle, and it'll regenerate code and try again. I like this. Let's add it. Now this works, but I want to keep the original error. So let's ask Copilot how we just pass that error in. So Copilot is telling us that we can pass in the exception as a variable. Now that variable can be named anything, and then we can use that error how we see fit. So for us, we're just going to pass that variable directly in, and then we're continuing on through our loop. So let's try this again, clean that up a little bit, and let's hide that window. We're gonna run this again. There we go, not enough apples, but it did still sell the 3 oranges. Great, that's exactly what we want. Now before we call this done, it did also say that we need to be able to order other fruits that are in stock. Sure, we're talking about an inventory quantity here, but what about fruits that aren't in stock? Like where I live, I don't think they have a lot of dragon fruit. So maybe let's try dragon fruit here. Dragon fruit 23. Interesting. We got a different error this time. So it's not a value error, it's a key error. And I do remember it saying that we wanted to be specific. Yeah, it's better to be specific about the types of exceptions so you don't catch and handle exceptions you didn't intend to. And that seems to be what happened here. It caught the value error and it did the thing, but it didn't catch the key error. Can we add multiple exceptions to our block? So the first time it said you can catch multiple exceptions and do one thing. Oh, but here, look at this. It says we can also pass in multiple exception types separately and then one that catches all the other exceptions here. Interesting. So I think we do that. We don't want to add that to our code, but I think we can work on it from here. Let's do except, and this was a key error, right? So let's just do key error. Thank you, Copilot. We don't want it to say print key like we did the last time. Also, let's maybe call this KE and VE. I don't think it really matters, but it's good to know that the two are separate. I don't think we want to actually pass in our key error. In fact, we'll just ignore that completely and we'll say, I'm sorry, we don't have that fruit in stock. Let's clean this up so we can read this a little bit better. Instead of that fruit, let's do fruit name. And we run it. Oh, fruit name is not defined. Interesting. Oh, maybe I named that wrong. Let's just select this whole text, hit this light bulb here, fix using Copilot. Maybe it'll catch it for us. Oh, yeah, it looks like it did. It looks like there's an underscore in here. Let's run it again. Oh, there we go. It says we don't have enough apples, so that's good. That did the right thing. And it says, I'm sorry, we don't have that dragon fruit in stock. Maybe we get rid of that as well. Run that again. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry, we don't have dragon fruit in stock, but it still sold the 3 oranges and it still says our total is $375. There, now you have a great starting point to handling exceptions in Python. You know how to find the error, acknowledge its existence, sometimes work with that error, but most importantly, continue on with your code. How would you have explained exception handling in Python? Let us know and provide a link to your code in the comments below. We'll link to our favorites and we'll push them up so that more people can see them. Thank you for watching this and be sure to catch some of the other episodes in this series.